from just outside and just inside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where I wonder what we're going to do because there just ain't no cure for these summertime blues.
That's so bad. That was really wow. Have you been like spending too much time with the lady gays?
There's some 90s country playing on the way
Yeah,
back home from
yeah.
my parents-in-law, whatever you say that is. And I had a different one. Would you like to hear the alternative
Oh, that's
one?
okay. We can just be the five takes on the five stripes, and we're back.
Wow, you are completely vetoing my title. Like,
All right. So
how?
make you feel better. Say your title. Say your title.
Okay. So
What
the
was the
other
better
one,
option?
the other option, because I'm not weighing in yet,
Not necessarily saying if it's better or not.
it might be in the same, let's say, tone.
Okay.
The one where Cobb started and we were left brokenhearted.
I mean, I feel like that might be a little bit more apropos.
It was my original, but then
Yeah,
I
I feel like this is where we're really missing Glenn. We're really
exactly
missing Glenn.
editing.
And in case you are, not familiar with our usual suspects and our usual crew, I'm Jennifer. Over here today is Amy, and we are still down one cat. Although things with Kat are apparently doing better. And hey, big ups to Kat for going back to school and starting her whole new like career path journey with environmental sciences and things there probably won't be jobs for in 5 years. But hey, good for you. Go back to school. Super proud of you.
Wow. And I thought I was the dark one here. You know what? I did see that. Kat got to have a back to school at the same time that all the other kids. It was kind
Right?
of
It was so
awesome.
cute, except I
Her
didn't see a
Facebook feed
picture of
was
like
full.
how tall she was or, what she wanted to be when she grew up. So I'm just kind of guessing.
I would like her to make a chalkboard of how many months old she is and all of her favorites to go beside whatever her, next first day of whatever is.
And then also we're down a Glenn this week. Glenn is gonna take a little bit of a mental health hiatus. He's got some stuff going on that he needs to focus on, and basically wants us to mention that he's walking the walk that we talk about all the time. That it's important to give yourself the space and the time that you need to get yourself in your right frame of mind. So we're going to do our best to try to pretend to have a podcast here. So thanks to Amy for learning how to Zencaster. And yeah, we're going to talk about a
and
soccer game that I fell asleep in the middle of.
Right. And just to end on one thing before we move on with Glenn, you're right. Like we all struggle and we all rely on each other, and we've talked a lot about that. We need to hold each other up, and sometimes that means taking some stuff off of our plates so that we can make room for other things. So, making room to learn Zencaster. Just bear with us through our many probable technical difficulties as we learn how to post on social media, like the technophobes we apparently are, since we can't seem to navigate
No.
between Blue Sky and whatever various social medias. Um,
We're going to get
yeah,
it figured out. It's
having a
okay.
fun
It's all
ride.
good, but we're here. And there's a
And
lot.
we're back.
We're
We're
back
back.
kind of like the Dragon Con app.
Ha ha ha! Kind of like the Dragon Con app. Are you going to con, Jen?
Me, I am totally going to con. Are you going to con, Amy?
I am going to con,
Oh
Jen.
my God. Are we going to be at con together? Very probably.
We are very probably going to be
And
at
hey,
con
if you're
together.
going to con, I will definitely have stickers. So come find me, and I might swag and seek a few five take stickers for all of this. But
And when you find them, bring them to me because she never gives me stickers. So, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. So if you haven't, download your DragonCon app. Not
you can.
everything is loaded in yet,
What do
but
you mean? Not everything?
there's
Like
a little bit.
nothing is loaded yet. It's
Okay,
it's
but
such
there's
a
a little bit.
metaphor.
It's so exciting.
it's such a metaphor for this team. It's like literally like how excited were we at the beginning of the season because all we have is this idea in theory on paper of how much fun it's going to be, and they haven't actually put all of the information, all of the data, and all of the stuff that you need to go in and function at Dragon Con into the app yet. And then when that happens, it's all going to go to hell in a handbasket because you're going to plan to go to all these events that there's no way in hell you're ever going to actually make. And it's going to be just like this team. We're going to plan to win all of these matches that there's just no way in hell we're going to actually show up for.
So here's the thing, though, Jen. Dragon Con, much like what our team should be doing, is an event that, while you can experience on the fly, also benefits from preparation. And I'm beginning to think that perhaps all of 2025 is, in fact, just 2026, the preseason extended edition. And just like you start to plan your cosplay at the end of the existing con, we are in fact getting a jump and beginning our 2026 planned outfits
is that how
now
you're
for
trying to
the
sell
soccer.
this to everybody now? Is that what we have?
Jen,
Is
what
that what we become?
I mean, look, I've got a couple of other ideas. I figured that was one. The other is we could just start taking bets. I mean, what do you think the over under is? Like, have we ever been at the true bottom of the table? Because we are creeping dangerously close, precariously close
We have
to the
never been in
dredges.
real wooden spoon contention before. It's it's becoming let's see, it's becoming a very close to reality here. So let's see here. As of today,
Mhm.
um, let's more standings because I've got to open up the entire
So
standings.
currently, I have some. I can look at the
Okay,
Eastern
cool,
Conference.
cool, cool,
So
cool.
currently in the East, we sit on 22 points, which is good for 13th, and we are only out of last by the skin of our last second tie point teeth. Um, because we have Montreal and DC sitting below us on 20 points. So only 2 points away. Don't don't count us out, Jen. We can still get there. We
I
can
don't know.
still
Well,
achieve.
the problem we're gonna have is sliding all the way down to LA's level because they had
Okay,
that.
where are they at?
They're sitting on 16 points right now. I mean,
16.
we're
How many
only five.
games? But wait, how many games do we have left? Okay.
Like 9.
No.
Yeah, no, because we have the same matches. So Montreal and DC have a game in hand on us because they played 26. Don't forget our match with Miami got postponed
Okay.
because of
Okay.
Club World Cup.
Okay.
So we'd have to lose extra to catch Miami and DC, to catch Montreal and DC, and then out west you've got St. Louis that's sitting on 21 points, and you have LA that's sitting on 16.
Okay, so did we just find the silver lining in this rainstorm moment?
No,
I
because
mean, we're not likely
we're
going
not
to
gonna
win the
suck
wooden
bad
spoon.
enough to actually win the wooden spoon.
So
And if
wait, so
we're
are
gonna
we now
suck
calling
that
for tanking,
bad,
Jennifer? Are we invoking the other football? And we're going to be tanking for spoonage instead of tanking for draft picks?
well,
I don't want a wooden
the
spoon.
problem is like there's no point in tanking for soccer. There's no
I
benefit.
know, that's the point. Unless
Yeah.
you're saying the wooden spoon is something we want to achieve,
I'm
which
just
I
it's nothing
don't.
I want to achieve, but achieving something would be cool. I mean, I don't know, like just some sort of okay, cool. We are literally the worst team in the league. Here's a trophy for it because we don't get relegated. Like there's nothing like we don't have to worry about that. Like, unlike the Premier League where if you lose and you lose consistently, there's a lot of money and life-changing things on the line.
I
Um
mean, that's absolutely true. And I mean, talking positively, I do think that there are things to be optimistic about in terms of if we could, you know, get a few things together. Like you see some sparks, you see some ideas, you're starting to see some
It is
things. Like I won't
far
deny that,
too late in the
but
season to be, oh, I'm excited about ideas. Yay! I
No,
disagree
absolutely
more.
not. Absolutely not, Jen. But we've been handed what we've been handed. The ingredients are what they are. The chef has said next season, y'all. Next season, which I think is a good segue to what Glenn, the one Glenn comment that he submitted himself uh,
I love that
for
Glenn
the
is submitting
pod.
his comments over DM now.
Listen,
Um,
we have to keep the snark level. We've kept Cat's meow, and we will keep Glenn's snark as best we can in this pod.
okay, so go ahead with Glenn's comment here.
All right. So Glenn said, um, sorry. Um, all we've heard from all of the professional voices in our city about this team is that it has to change. This has to change, that has to change. Well, if it doesn't change, how can you possibly justify not changing the coach?
I
Thoughts,
mean,
Jennifer?
you
Are
can't.
you Dyla out? Is this too much?
This is the thing. I don't want to be Dyla out. I have to be Dyla out. I don't have choice because Dyla is not working, and Dyla apparently doesn't know what the current rules of MLS are. Because he thought that Noah he thought that Noah and he's quoted in the press that stating that Noah Cobb couldn't play against us yesterday, and then we were all like, why is Noah Cobb in the starting lineup? Our coach said he couldn't play. Oh wait, they changed that rule while you were gone, Ronnie. Maybe, I don't know, studying up on like the rules of this game that you're being paid millions of dollars to coach, that might, I don't know, maybe be a thing.
I mean, I get it. I think that, for whatever reason, I'm going to take the other side of this argument. Though I'm beginning to feel a little bit negative about it. I think that the rules mix up is silly, but does it fundamentally alter like what we saw last night?
No, it
I
doesn't.
don't.
No, but my point being is that we can't. The problem that we have is that we now have an official revolving door in the manager seat. Like it's not even a
Right.
thing here. Like, and that's just, it's not sustainable or something that any club can have, that if they expect to want continued success. Have to find a way to not hire a bunch of players that are literally nothing but coach killers, and that's I think when you talk about like I so and that's why it's hard to quantify it as this is a Ronnie problem. It's a problem that Ronnie doesn't make better. And that's probably why Ronnie needs to go.
Look, I too would like this season of our lives to move on to whatever is next. This long summer of discontent or whatever. I know it's supposed to be a winter, but this is where we are.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that we're seeing some growth. We're starting to see what the players are, what they're being asked. But I think what is painful is that in this process, we have also essentially had our, hearts ripped out, right? In the loss of these homegrowns recently, which I think is making the salt that's being rubbed in the wounds of our struggling backline, who, in their defense, are new, are coming up to fitness, are all these things that in a preseason we would be very forgiving about. 2026 preseason extended edition. Okay. So, you
Aiden
know,
is clearly trying to make fetch happen here.
it's just something. But I do want to say that I want to give my condolences to one fan of the pod, Scott Danielson. Thank you for writing in on Instagram. Scott said, I'm telling myself Cobb is only out on a loan and we'll get him back next year. Now for some more red Kool-Aid. Um, uh, to Scott or to anyone who may not know, the terms of the loan with Colorado, as I understand it, put the option as to whether or not Noah Cobb comes back to us with Colorado. And that means that if he stands up and plays like a full grown man, like he did last night, and shows himself to be ready for a starting job, I'm not sure I see Colorado, who's already put him out there 90-minute starter, um, doesn't pick him up. Now, does that mean it's 100% like he's not coming back? I don't know. There's a chance, but I doubt it unless we are just really, really terrible. And the only reason going into take number two that Noah Cobb performs so expertly is that somehow we are just that predictable. Um, or sorry, take number three is what it was. Because you mentioned falling asleep, and you were not the only one that had some difficulty last night with the game. Um,
Are we going straight into takes?
yeah, well,
Okay.
we don't have to, but
No, we're good. We're
I
good.
just
Let's
would.
go.
So Cobb was there. I think I heard the announcers say that at least 5 or 6 times, breaking up some of our best would be offensive chances.
He broke
Um,
up two of them. He cut down two very clear cut. Not that I have any faith that Latte would have finished either one of those opportunities. But I mean, there was the one in the first half that I was awake for. Was absolutely a Noah Cobb bailout clearance that was vintage of what he did to Messi at the end of the third game in Miami last year. Like, yeah, and
so
then there was another one I can't remember, but like Cobb saved two clear goals in my mind.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. If you look at what we did with the moves that we did, the players that we brought in, and the terms of the loans that we put together, the reason I come to this take number three, and ultimately also a little bit of take number one, which is that he started against us, of course. They got a goal in the 17th minute of all minutes. Um, are the soccer gods angry with us? And what are they angry about? Well, we've sacrificed our homegrowns for whatever 2026 is going to be. Because I don't see us signing the terms of those loans if Ronnie Dyla says, Noah Cobb's my guy, I want him back at the end of the year. He's going to be a starter at the beginning of next season. And if Noah Cobb deserves to start, then I can't be that upset. I'm sad, but I'm not that upset about him going to the Rapids because it seems clear to me that we brought in two guys and we'll see if Steen can stay healthy. But they're those three that they're banking on seemingly to be the back line for 2023. And so there was not going to be anywhere
I
for
mean
the homegrowns we sacrificed.
I hear you. And again, from a I don't get the business and the logic on that. Not where Noah Cobb was developmentally. Like it doesn't seem like it's a good business transaction. But I also can certainly see the onus and impetus on the organization to win now, and you don't win now, coddling kids. You win now with veterans who are supposed to step up and do their job, whether or not they can, considering that both two goals were squarely on the shoulders of two new defenders who haven't sat into really had time to sit into the lineup yet. That's a whole different thing. So yeah, I can see why a lot of the fan base is butthurt over selling off Efrain Morales. And yeah, we got good value for Efrain. It remains to be seen.
Who is also going to be a long term starter. He just signed a deal.
Yeah,
And you know what? Like again, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all of the homegrowns that have gone on and gone on to, have opportunities. I'm just wondering at what point um do we make that space? And I know that, a lot of us are still big on that being Jay Fortune potentially, depending on what happens with his recovery and everything, but we can't wait for that. So we've already got a very crowded midfield that's going to be even crowded, even more
rowdier,
crowdier.
rowdier.
Yep, that's where I was going. And I diverted, and you were like, nope, right
Nope,
there.
right back in there.
Um, but we're going to have an even more crowded midfield. Now, I'm assuming that we're moving on from at least a couple of players. We're not going to keep everybody clearly from the
No,
midfield right now. Um,
I mean, look, you've got Dominic Chunky, who they put on an emergency first year deal, and I mean, I don't know that he's more of a winger, but Will Riley has certainly stepped up. You've got,
Luke
you know,
Brennan has been a spark, and I would love
yeah, but Luke Brennan needs to play on the damn wing, and they just need to sit Brooks down, and I think we're going to finally see that because apparently Brooks got hurt this week, or Brooks got hurt, or whatever. Who knows? I don't
well, his
know.
shoulder looked like it had gotten aggravated. We'll see. we'll see what the
in
net
any in,
result of
e- in
that
either in
is.
either way, he's not really. I mean, like, the battle is going to be, not a battle. I don't
The
even
thing
think it's
is
a battle.
I don't think that he's playing because of Brooks. I thought he was playing to keep Saba on. And you've got to have a lot of faith in him defensively because I mean, granted they can overlap, but those are two at
Like I said,
home I think Ronnie may be more willing to do that. On the road, that's dangerous. And I think that's
going
why
back
they've
to your
continued to try to
whole,
keep
we're
Brooks
now
away.
in the preseason for 2026. Why the heck wouldn't you start your homegrowns? Why
Well, I
wouldn't you?
think we're going to see that now. And I don't know why it's taken this long, but I hope that's the case. I don't know, like at one point I had kind of mentioned the fact that Latte had been playing for like a long time, and I've talked about the fact that I'm concerned that there are players that either at this moment or maybe not at all, but at least in this very moment don't seem to be able to play in the way that Ronnie needs them to from a fitness or whatever you
I
want to
don't
say
think they're. I
standpoint.
don't think.
No, but
I don't think
if the
they're
narrative
playing.
is that they're tired, which is one thing that's been suggested, then at this point, literally, we are in wooden spoon territory. There are people that believe that we will not win another game this season. So again, 2026 preseason edition, start all the homegrowns, put them all out there. Just let's see what we have.
Does that include Jaden Hibbert for you?
Why you got to go there, Jen? Why you
Because
gotta
it
go
was
there?
discussed.
Goose is not the problem.
But if you're going to be in that mode, like you're saying, of 2026 preseason now, are you not getting more long term benefit getting Hibbert those minutes now?
I don't know. That's a really hard thing because while I fully support that argument, right? And I get it. I also am a person that just really thinks that sometimes the optics for somebody who's going to be, you know, one of the probably first people retired into the whatever retirement circle that Atlanta United has. Like he's going to be mainstay, I think,
Do
at the
you
club because of
really
the legend that
feel,
he is.
and
Like,
you feel playing out this season cements his legacy? How?
no, I think that it comes down to where he's at and how they handle it because we have had moments with other people of his caliber that I think were not handled very well.
I hear
And
that, but
I'd like
like,
to make sure that we do that right for Goose. And if it means Hibbert plays and then the last game of the season they pull Goose out there and they do a big whatever, I could be sold on that. I could be
I mean,
sold on
I
that.
can't imagine that they don't do something like that. Like they're not.
100%.
I don't think Ronnie Dyla is Pineda. Obviously you had a little bit of, you not a little bit. I mean, we all know Joseph was a coach killer. We all know Joseph.
But he's thriving in San Jose.
He is, but that doesn't make him any less of a coach killer. It was either he was either gotten rid of because he's a coach killer, or he was, or who knows. Give him 5 minutes out there, he'll start throwing chicken because he's Joseph and that's what he does. But the bottom line is, he and Gonzo had a beef. Gonzo knew he wasn't coming back, and Gonzo did the wrong thing in not even having a moment of, hey, this is Joseph's last match here, right? Like, that was not reading the room well on Gonzo's part, in my opinion, right? I don't think Ronnie Dyla is in the same position, nor is there the same kind of circumstance between Brad and pick a coach.
To be honest with you, if you go back in the little time machine, right? Like I think what we witnessed with the Joseph chicken and rice table incident was in fact the moment in the timeline when we split off from the original Atlanta culture and shifted to Seattle, right? That was the break in the continuum,
Could
right?
be.
Where we went absolutely because the vibe of the club was going that direction. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
I think what that moment was, right? And I think that's why we keep kind of coming back around to those things because it's the moment that in my mind I sort of almost, associate with, oh, so we really are like moving on,
I
right?
mean, so again, I'm not trying to say right or wrong. I fail to see where, if you've got to get Hibbert the experience, why not get him the experience with the first team right now, where it means jack and shit to pretty much anything else we could possibly be doing right now.
Again, I concede the argument. Like I said, from my perspective, I could see us doing that and then doing a tribute, whatever. my only caveat is that I want to make sure that it's handled right to,
Yeah.
with Goose. Like,
I
that's
think
it.
I,
And I
I
don't
think
have
I
any
think
doubt. And the way that he comports himself and has always operated with the club, he's a guy where I don't doubt that that could happen. Some
yeah.
To your point, your whole point is that maybe it would have gone different with Joseph if Joseph was different. Maybe it's not on the club or whatever, right? And I concede that that is a very valid point.
Just,
Um,
different
and I
approach to different folks.
and I want to segue that into, since we are like moving forward, this break that we're taking. Um, Jen, I
What?
mean, if you have a break and then you need to get a recovery from that break,
Oh
where
God, I
would
did not
you
know where you were going at all with that. Are
go?
you talking about like rehabbing a broken bone?
No, no, no.
Or
I'm talking if I
I mean,
don't know,
that's
Jen.
one reason why you would go, see our friends over at Mason Mill.
Yes, Mason Mill.
Yes, Mason Mill. They're a chiropractic team, and wow, did we? Okay, so Dr. Miner and Dr. Cohen, I don't know you because I know Glenn and Kat have been going to your practice for a long time, and unfortunately, where I live, that is not technically just outside the perimeter. I'm way outside the perimeter, and you have to kind of get your passport stamped when you want to come see me at either one of my homes. So yeah, unfortunately, for those of us that aren't in, it's worth the drive if you're not all the way in Decatur where this chiropractic firm is. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm totally
No, no,
bogged.
no. It's great because I've actually been planning. It's on my list. I would like to actually go maybe for a consult to Mason Mill because I do happen to live in Decatur, not the part of the Decatur that this is in, but Mason Mill. If you need to go out to Mason Mill for some chiropractic work, their phone number, if you want to make an appointment, 404-321-0082. I've been thinking about doing it myself because of
They
how
have those
highly
convenient Saturday hours.
you're right.
When you're not running around, dealing with, ultimate frisbee, back to school, whatnot, or prepping for con madness. Actually, post con, you should probably go ahead and make your appointment now because Lord knows nobody needs an adjustment like a post con person.
That is actually a really brilliant idea, and I'm going to be writing that down on my list of things to do because that sounds like a really good idea, especially after, you fall asleep in the potential uncomfortable rollaway bed or hallway or whatever, or you've just been walking around and standing on your feet for 12 hours. Take your time and go out to Mason Mill for your recovery. Go see Dr. Cohen, Dr. Miner. They're located
Dr.
in
Goen is
Shaker.
turning 40 this year, and he has taken on all kinds of like super fun approaches to being 40, approaches that I wished I had thought of because he's coming at it with some fortitude. And apparently, Dr. Cohen and I would be really good friends because he's throwing himself a big old birthday bash. This is on what is it, October 10th.
Yes.
There's still some spaces available. It'll be at Block and Dunn over in Chambly, and they apparently, wow, reading off their DJ lineup sounds pretty happening. DJ Cairo, the DJ team, and DJ Puffy. So
I think one of the doctors is DJ Cairo, right?
I'm not sure. That's
I really
definitely
got to get out and meet these guys. They're DJs and they're
they're chili
chiropractors. Like,
cook-offs. They
it's
DJ their
great.
own birthday parties, and apparently they're
And
running
apparently do
a
savage races to
yeah,
boot that
savage
you can
races, and
do
they
with
still have.
them.
I think Glenn was saying they still had like 5 spots left on their team. So if those are fun things that are interesting to you, please check out our friends Mason Mill Cairo on the web.com. And yeah, follow along. Thanks so much. We appreciate you. Um,
And that's really great because I wanted to stay on the positive train. Um, because, you know, we're trying to keep this, mostly positive momentum going in preseason 2026, the extended edition. Um, in the only category that matters, we did come up short, but we are having momentary moments of greatness from one DP, one Alexei Moranchuk, and in uh, the home in which I was fortunate to watch the game, when Alexei scored, it was a moment of excitement that rang out, "Oh, my Alexei, you're so sexy," from Scott Berkman. And I felt the joy in that 1-1 moment. 2 minutes later, we're so used to being scored on and then getting punched, or scoring and then getting punched in the mouth. And
We
this
got
time
through the
we got
whole
to punch
second half.
them. It
We got
felt
through the
good.
whole half too without getting punched in the face. That was pretty cool.
And then
Um,
we made it through the 15 minutes of doom.
I know. And then yeah, but I think this goes back to what you were saying with this team not necessarily being fit enough to run the system that Dyla wants to run, because they have not been able to string together a 90-minute performance all season. And yeah, we've had this whole thing where I think we've conceded more goal. I was reading somewhere, I think it was Doug, where he said that we've conceded more goals in the second half this season than 7 entire MLS teams have.
I
Like
believe that.
that,
I
I
believe
believe
that.
that. Like
We
it's
have to score 3 to guarantee a tie or win. That's what our history says to
yeah.
us. And we have done that and won, but only 4 times. And we had to do that, I think, in all but one of our wins. I'm gonna have to look at it, but like
It's
we've had to score an unusual amount just to make up for how bad the backline is. And it's befuddling to me because I also want to say that Goose is not the problem. That hasn't been the problem. But like it's maddening, right? Because something has to be the problem.
Well, I mean, clearly, look, ultimately, it's like a lot of people like to throw stats out the window. I'm one of those people. I'm a gut feel kind of person, but like you look at the stats don't freaking lie. Except for the XG. The XG is a lying sack of shit, because
Mm.
our XG is like enormous and through the roof, and we can never actually seem to convert XG. So throwing out the XG, like the reality is like the defensive stats and things like that, all of them are true. We are undeniably bad on the back line, and you can pick any number of things to blame for it. I'm not saying Goose isn't the entirety of the problem, but a 40-year-old Goose is probably not making as many reactionary saves as he probably was making 5 or 6 years ago.
I actually think Goose looks better than he did 5 or 6 years
I,
ago, and I'm
but,
not, I mean that with all respect.
but you know,
I
I,
think
I
he's
wasn't
actually
sad to.
performing better than he did. I need to go back and watch the tape, though I don't know how to do that. I've tried to look for 2018 games. If anybody who listens to this pod knows how we can go back and watch the 2018 games, I actually had a request from a friend whose new wife, she's been bringing to games with their son, and she would really love for them to be able to experience when it was joyous because they didn't. And the kid especially really really loves it, but this is really hard, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to live through that too, but if anybody knows how we could show them more than a highlight, or if you have some way of watching the games, would love to pass it to them. Okay, sorry, thank you for my segment there.
You're cool.
And
I just, but like I wasn't sad to see, Derek leave this week for Reading. I don't think I'll be sad if Stian goes during the off season. I have yet to see anything from Barokal, or I can't pronounce
Veracall and
it.
Mihai are here, they're not going anywhere.
Barokal and Mihai are here. Didn't see anything great out of either one of them this weekend. I will
You
say
didn't see
Mihai.
much of the game either, but I'm not. I well, from like I'd say the last 20 minutes. You really didn't miss that much, to be honest with you. It was kind of just a lot of tragedy. I think you actually made the right decision, if I'm being honest. I probably could have wiped from my memory take number 5, which was the desperate polar bear grab, trying to just swipe
I
swipe the ball
mean,
out of the way.
I
But
watched him
I
try
just
to
wanted to.
stop
I think my
Chelsea. He
point
got a
was just
hand
I
on
just
his
wanted to
stick.
defend Baracall a little bit. He's only been here like a game or whatever. They're
Well,
not used to his
look,
like.
I
I don't know that
don't
we can judge either of
I
them yet.
don't expect instant overnight fixes, but I'm assuming they've got Stian and Mihai penciled in as your starting two.
I think
Okay.
you're right. I think
As
that
of now, that would be a safe assumption, right? Did you see?
yes.
Now, this was Mihai's first start. Did you see anything out of that would give you a whole lot of hope for this extended preseason 2026?
Um.
Other
Yeah.
than he looks a lot prettier. I will
I
get, I don't know. Derek was pretty too.
no. First, again. I am not judging him at what I think he will be, right? Because I know where he's
He's
at
been
in
here
his
for a
like
month.
fitness. but he's not at his he's still in preseason mode. Like he was not at fitness. It's not like he came here and he was in the middle of a season and he's like at condition, okay? Um I think that most of the first half um we were pretty decent. Like I can't say anything like particularly stood out because to be honest with you, a lot of the game was a little bit a repeat, let's just be honest, of what we've been watching on this Groundhog's Day uh, season of Atlanta United. Um, but I don't know that I'm gonna. I just don't. I just don't think we have enough data, right, to say
Again, we
what we're
don't
seeing
have.
and
I
what's
no,
happening.
I agree with you. We
And
don't have enough
yeah,
data. I just find it exceedingly ironic that from the outset, it looks like we've traded one defensive liability for another.
I mean, he did look. Barakal, one of the new ones that came in, he's the one that commits the stab in the box, which we have done so often that now it's just sort of like I think maybe just like a hazing or something. Like every time a new center back comes on, they need to at least draw a penalty. So I'm glad he got that off his back in 2026, the preseason edition, um, preseason extended edition, so that he doesn't do it next year. That's what I'm looking at this as. Is they're getting the kinks out now. This is Chris Henderson's footprint, fingerprints. We now know these are the signings. We know that there's more activity happening because we've you know gotten rid of yet another um, center back in Derek Williams. Um, so are we bringing in another CB? Are we riding these three? Do we not want a fourth? Do we have a somebody coming up like you know from the academy. Like we don't know. Are they bringing in somebody else? But Derek Williams is now gone. So we're seeing it slowly form their shift from whatever you call this failed recipe
I mean, they moved
to the new
yesterday
stuff.
to hold this 1-0 lead. They moved to 5 in the back. And that's when it all kind of seemed to go to hell.
Yeah, yeah. I will say that Navarro, the guy that got the brace, he's been having a really good spell of games, right? And you see why with the way that he performed and just sort of, made some things happen. I mean, at least the one time, I guess the one time we just kind of tripped him in the box. Um, but I don't know what to say, Jen. Like I said, like I think that we really just can't judge. And at this point, it's kind of like we have theater tickets and we're getting to see some of the dress rehearsal, but it's not a good dress rehearsal. It's like, they haven't finished the cast and some of them don't seem like they can sing right now. And we're in a musical and we're not
I
really
never
sure if the
pretended to
director
be
is the
able I
director,
never
if it'll be a
pretended to
different
be able to
director,
sing
or how
anymore.
bad it's going to go. And so, like, what can you really say here except I'm
Nothing.
seeing moments of positivity. I have been
And
an advocate for Alexi
going
Moranchuk
back
for the
here, yeah.
entirety of the season, and he has, I think, stepped up certainly more than any other DP. And if I see only him and they rest, I'm going to let them say it's resting. If you want to rest Miggy and Latte, please let them rest. Send them on a vacation. Let them
I
go
think they
do
would have
whatever
been
they need to
resting
do.
Latte if Jamal hadn't gotten hurt.
Is Jamal hurt? Is that what happened? I heard he was like maybe going to leave. So we'll see. I will say I'm going to play the part of the Glen here for a moment. What does Cayman have to do to get on the field? Because I don't know if maybe I fell asleep. I'm gonna have to check the lineup now, but did he like actually make it onto the field? Am I crazy?
Togashi, I don't think so.
So like why?
I
Ex-
don't
like
know.
ex- like like he just scored in your last game, came in, got, or whenever that was.
I
He was
don't know.
clutch.
I don't. I again. It's for the same reason that they're playing Miggy. What are you gonna do? You're gonna make the second most expensive in MLS Second most expensive transfer in MLS history, Ride Pine.
There are plenty of things that you could
And
say to
he's
make that perfectly
actually,
justifiable, including we understand that we are not going to make the playoffs. That's not where we are. We are in Allen Iverson, practice, like when we talk about playoffs or whatever the playoffs version of that is. The point is, like, it's absurd, right? That's where we are. We are in the land of absurdity when it comes to that. So why are you risking next season? I could start making an argument that every time you play Miggy and Latte, you're risking their health for next season. And perhaps we should
you
be
making a
resting them if
very,
they are exhausted.
I think maybe you're making a good argument. And I don't know, like, I'm starting to believe that the latte thing, and I mean, like, from his article, the headline on Doug's article that I didn't get to read today, was something like, latte saying it was a lot, like this MLS season was a lot. And actually, I'm going to pull this up because I don't want to misquote Doug. It was
I
actually,
believe that. I believe that every dude on this team is mentally and physically exhausted. I do not question whether they are trying. I'm not sure that I question like effort at this point. I think whatever effort issues there were are gone. That's not what's going on. And look, the altitude, we haven't talked about that. That is a legitimate thing.
I don't
I don't know
even want
how
to
much
go
it played a
there.
role, but I would say that Noah Cobb was just in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and he didn't look too bothered by the altitude. Um,
I don't want to go there at all. Like, I'm sorry. I have no use for. I'm over
it's
and
just an
done
excuse to you.
with these physicality issues being an excuse for this team. Yeah, half the roster's on IR. You know what? That's who we are as a club right now. That has been a thing since 2022. If you expect, we have to be a club that expects to win without a healthy roster. We cannot be a club that expects to have a healthy roster anymore. It needs to stop being an excuse. And it's ever, yeah, we're snake bit in some regards, but like every other team deals with this shit and they still manage to win a game. Most teams don't go on 10-game winless streaks.
The thing that's killing me about this season is that is the one thing that I'll say, notwithstanding my overall stance still being that I don't think this is Ronnie Dyla. I will say that he has made some decisions recently that were more things that I disagreed with than previously, but I also can justify those decisions. So I'm still on Team Dyla in, but
So Latte
um,
Lot said
yeah,
Atlanta United season takes a lot of energy.
and he's been going for a long time. I mean, we
I
talked about that. Some other people, a lot of people talked about it. Like,
but so did, what, again, so did Miggy had a similar thing, but like most of the guys that we have from Europe that come over, they're also fucking professional athletes.
but let me throw it at you this way, Jen. Okay, we're right now down fellow podcasters because they need a break because they've been having whatever with life because they're people. These people are professional athletes, yes, but they are also people. That's not an illegitimate
No, I mean,
thing.
that's, I like, there has, I was just, the point I was going to make is
Okay.
there's now a lot of mumbly rumory things about other stuff that is going on in Latte Lot's life that may or may not have really impacted his transition coming here and whatever. I'm
Well, I
not sure if
don't
that's
get
really,
any.
I mean, I'm just, you hear this on the socials and there's some speculation all over some, it's just, he's had some, we haven't gotten a whole bunch of details, whatever, but I think there's got to be something else going on here with regards to his performance, because this kind of drop off is just, it's cliff.
I don't know. I honestly, I could buy that the combination of, I think his wife was pregnant, so he's either a new father, new father to be, or going to have a
He is a new
child.
father because she had the baby right when he
Okay.
came over here.
Right. So he's a new father. Okay. He's adjusting to a new country. He's coming into a team where, let's be honest, we thought it was going to be all like this. He got, I think, excited with the way that things started, just like the rest of us. It is a big letdown, not just to us. I'm sure it's been a big letdown to him. He didn't see himself diving off this cliff, he didn't envision that. And
No,
having to adapt to, they talk about the travel. He's been playing in the English Championship. The travel there is nothing. like
No, look,
traveling
a
here.
hundred percent. But
And
like,
where have we been the worst all season? I mean, that is where everybody struggles. Everybody in MLS struggles on the road. That's why it's so important. You have to win your home games. Yada yada yada. It's like a testament. That's part
I'm
of the
not going to
MLS.
buy this.
But
I am not
for
for us.
us not to win a single road game, not a
We
single one.
we've won 3 home games. We can't win no matter where we
Four.
are.
Four. We've not won any road games, right? Have we won a road game?
I don't think so. I think we've had draws, but no wins.
Right. So did if if I told you at the beginning of the season that we would have zero road wins, you would have told me that was preposterous, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's happening on the road? What is happening when we're traveling that we are so
I don't
lacking
know
in
because we haven't been good on the
cohesion,
road in the last. We
cohesiveness?
haven't been good on the road for since 2019 either. I don't have these answers. If I had these answers, I'd have a different job than the one I do.
You'd have
I
more money because you'd be calling Uncle Arthur to tell him how he gets
Yeah, how
himself
you
another
should run your
MLS
venue. I mean,
championship.
what do you guys like? Seriously, we're all grasping at straws. What do you guys think it is? Y'all are listening to us sitting here ramble and speculate on all these other things. Like, I mean, does anybody have any other new and unique, real concrete theories as to why we can't win on the road at all? Like, and we haven't been able to do so for years and multiple coaches. Like, it's a thing.
But
Like, it's
we're much worse in my mind. I don't know if it's because the road trip was so long and the drought between home
Well,
games
we
and
had the
everything else,
same
but
kind of
like
crappy road trip
a lot.
last year. We had the same kind of crappy schedule last year with Copa America coming in last year. Okay.
You're right. You're
And
right.
we had we're going to have the same crappy road schedule next year with the World Cup. So this is
Ooh.
something that the team is going to have to freaking do. The team has had now 2 years to figure out.
But let's okay, so you've stumbled on something interesting that I don't know that I've really like thought a lot about, other than my own personal annoyance. Um, do you think that we're beginning to see a little fraying at the edges of the amount that you can stretch and manipulate a general MLS home away gap scheduling, condensed scheduling before you start to have the availability of your venue or whatever it is that's starting to dictate that? Um, make it so that your roster is reflecting that or some of that,
I
that it is
don't
a
because I
disruption
think
in the force, right? The fact that we have this
I
so
don't think so
scheduled.
because you've got a roster that's constructed with a lot of players that are regulars for for their national teams. So I can't think that they are going into
I'm
the
talking more about the home away drought and
no,
the gap
yeah, but we're
between
not the
games
only
less
team. We are
than the
not
international
we are
absences.
not the only team that is dealing with that. Nashville had to deal with it, and Nashville's having a great year.
Okay. Sure.
I'm trying to think like who else did. I mean, the New York teams don't really bother, but Seattle did as well because they were using Lumen Field for Club World Cup. Seattle's going to have it next year. LA, the LA teams got lucky because they're in soccer specific stadiums, right? And they're big match venue. Like that's the we are. I think the only other team that's really going to deal with this next year is New England because they're
What
and
about what about Charlotte? I guess because Bank of
Charlotte's not a
America is
World
so
Cup
big.
venue.
Oh, they're not a World Cup venue. That's right.
No, no. And I
Sorry.
don't think they were a Club
That's
World
right.
Cup venue
Yeah,
either.
that's right. You're right.
So, you had Cincy who
Well,
did
in
have
the TBD Miami Stadium.
no, Miami played at Hard Rock. So all
Right.
the World
But
Cup games are at Hard Rock, so that doesn't affect Inter Miami new stadium or no.
okay.
So it's us really and New England who are the only people that are actually
Got it.
sharing the venue that is going to be and from what actually which is kind of cool. We'll get to play on grass for a lot of next season, which is kind of fun. Because they're going to put the grass, they're going to install the grass sooner to let it sit and get ready for the World Cup and whatever. But like in either, in terms of being away, but like actually being away, not playing in your home venue, they're two different things, right? Like we definitely, it's a little bit harder on us, I think, because outside of New England, nobody else is really giving up their home venue for the 6 week period or however long that period is. And we'll have had to do that for 3 years in a row. But like again, we should be at a point in time with it where we're used to it and it's not an excuse anymore. At least that's kind of how I see it. But yeah, I just, I'm over excuses. I want answers and I want action. And I didn't want to have to fall asleep in watching this match because it's the same story with different cast characters. And that's kind of
Um,
like my big fear. So,
I
anywho,
get that. I
um,
mean, look, here's the good news, right? Take
hey, the good
five,
news is
silver
I'm
lining.
back and we survived all of this and I'm back in time for fun stuff. We've got some fun stuff coming up, don't we? Because it's
Yes, we
fun to be a soccer fan, right, Amy?
it but listen, we're going to have more silver linings, fewer clouds. It's going to be Sunday fun day because guess what? It's a doubleheader, folks. Don't go home early following the Atlanta United match if you need an extra jolt of joy, regardless of what happens. Stay after for the unified match, right, Jen?
Your genuine World Cup champion Atlanta United Unified squad doing closing out and I think this is their last match of the season if I remember correctly. But
I
they will
believe
be
so.
closing out their season with their home end of Toronto FC. And last time I checked, our unified team was still undefeated. Just saying,
They were, I think.
because they were pretty
So
awesome.
that'll be awesome. So that is a reason to come out. But let's not make you wait until after the match. Before the match, you should definitely come down. Again, it's an early game. Come down for a little bit of earlier tailgates. I'm sure that all of the SGs will be out there and having some fun. But we will have some special guests over at Terminus Legion. We're going to have some folks from Gigi's Playhouse. Gigi's uh, Playhouse is an organization that supports individuals of all ages with Down syndrome. We're going to have some families over hanging out at the tailgate with Terminus Legion. There'll be a bit of food. Members definitely come over. There will be an opportunity to make some bracelets, have some fun.
I like
To
bracelets. Bracelets are fun.
I do too. And
Um,
so that should be another reason to come out and have some fun before the game. There is going to be a tailgate at least from 12 to 2.
Also, Truck Bar is back. We haven't had Truck Bar in a minute, so we're excited to have Truck Bar back. Thanks, Lynn and Steve, for hitting that up. And it's an early tailgate, which means brunch and bloodies and mimosas, and you can't go wrong with all of that fun stuff. And also, hey, if you see us, one of us in the wild, come say hi. Come get you some stickers. I have stickers. I'll make sure Amy has stickers. So we'll give Amy some stickers. Um,
Yay! I can hand
but
out stickers.
yeah, so we've got that coming up, and also, we for those of you who are attending Dragon Con, there will be some sort of Dragon Con watch party shenanigan thing. Not sure exactly how that's going to go down. We will source the deets and try to get that information over to you. But if you are not
So on
going,
game day, definitely feel free if you're at con to bring your best Atlanta United
there's
whatever mashup
some
outfit.
interesting mashups that I've seen. And if you're not at Dragon Con, you're probably making the annual trek up to Nashville. Want to give a big friend of the pod shout out to our buds up at Mixtape and Logan, who came back to do his pod this week for the first time. And you sounded great, dude. Here for you. It was awesome. Keep fighting the good fight. I hate that I'm not going to Nashville this year. But in any case, if you're going to go to Nashville, stay tuned because we have details and all sorts of fun stuff about around that weekend coming out this week. So those plans and whatnot because it's always a good time up there with our friends from the Backline Collective. So yeah, there's still some joy. There's still some joy in Mudville, and again, early afternoon. We like the afternoon tailgates. It's nice to get one. It's like a treat. Um, it's like a treat to not have like a you know all day Saturday kind of thing.
Hmm.
So
No, I'm
yeah,
excited. I think there's a lot to look forward to. Definitely come out, come have some fun, um, and try to stay afterwards and cheer on the unified team.
yes, definitely plan to stay afterward for that.
And I think that's probably about gonna do it, Jen.
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited
You
to
sound
see you
you're so
after
great.
having not seen you in such a long time.
Aw. But yeah, come say
Saturday, a
hi.
Sunday.
Sunday. Sunday. Yeah, the match is on
Sunday fun day,
Sunday.
that's what I keep telling myself.
Sunday fun day. Come say hey. I will probably drag the golden spike shot ski out from hiding and come up with some sort of, you Canadian bacon themed shot or something like that. Um, but yeah, other than that, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for liking, subscribing, dropping us reviews, interacting with us, bearing with us through all these technical things that Amy and I don't really know how to do, but we're trying anyway. Thanks for putting up and being understanding about, members of this pod's mental health and the support that they need right now. We appreciate, the well wishes and the stuff like that we've heard from folks. So thank you guys for following along and sticking with us through all of that crazy. Thank you for going to Mason Mill. Thank you for joining the Atlanta United Fan TV Discord. Still a really good, mostly healthy conversation. Going on about Atlanta United. So if you're not part of that, make sure you join that. And I
Yeah.
think other than that, that's kind of all we got for this week. We'll be back next week, probably Monday, because it's a 4 o'clock kick in with the unified match. I don't know that we'll get back in time so
Yeah,
everybody
we'll
will
we'll
report,
we'll
but
probably drop the pod on Tuesday.
yeah, so we'll probably drop the pod on Tuesday. And I don't know. What else you got, Amy? Did I forget anything? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. It feels weird.
No, I think that's a good note to end on. Just remember, guys, in this time until we see you again, um, talk about what's going on and lean on your people.
So, oh, is it that time? Oh yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Meow 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 meow. Amy's
I
got
failed
nothing.
as the Glenn.
You
I
totally did. But so this goes back to, oh, Alexi, you're so sexy. Damn the man. Save Atlanta United.